God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. This is the Nathan NAPALM channel, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in Pantheon or old school MMOs on our march to launch. Today I want to talk about a little game called Chronicles of Elyria. It's a game in production currently. It's been in production for quite a while, and there's some things we know about it, and it is going for the old school style approach to MMO gameplay. So I gotta talk about it because that's what I do here. It's not a game, I'm gonna be honest before I even begin, this is not a game that I'm like super hyped over at this time. I don't know if I ever will be. We'll see. I am super hyped for Pantheon. It kind of, to be honest with you, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen just kind of takes all my heart. So there's very little left to give to others. That's kind of how it is. However, I want to talk about this game because you never know. This could turn out to be something very special. And there are a lot of people looking forward to it. So, I mean, if I'm able to get my YouTube channel going real strong and I'm able to go full-time YouTube, which is my goal, then, you know, I'll find some time to give it a shot and, you know, that kind of thing in between all the raids and cool stuff I'll be doing in Pantheon. So, let's talk about what is Chronicles of Elyria. Well, this is the thing that they're most known for, I gotta say, is that the character, your character that you make in the game, it ages and it will eventually die. So it kind of makes you think about your character beyond the typical just leveling up and getting to max level, because you have children and they pass on traits from the parent, which would be you, and you know, it kind of gives a larger role in the overall story. And I think that's really cool. That's a really cool feature. I always thought this would be a cool design. When I played MMOs way back in the day, I always thought about this, like, I always thought like a wizard would be cool, like, because come on, we all know that as a wizard gets older and he gets the big long gray beard and all that, he's just better, okay? He just gets better with age. His magic abilities, he's got the wisdom, all that kind of thing. So I always used to think of that, like, it would be cool as if you leveled up and you could tell how high level somebody was as a wizard if they got old. But anyway, they're kind of taking this idea and running with it, but it plays across all types of roles that you might play in this game. Another big feature about Chronicles of Elyria that they're talking about is a fully destructible environment. What that would mean is that the world would be different and experience different for each character, alt, or person, depending on when they start, what server they're on, etc. They also talk a lot about local, regional, and national conflicts continuously unfolding, so that there's new opportunities and history can be different on different servers, kind of thing. So there are different families, right? So it could be a player-run family, and it sounds like from the research I've done, families are kind of like a guild. So you can enter the world as a member of a player-run family, or you can pick from several NPC families that already exist in the world and lore. And then, you know, you work your way up and you make your dynasty and you can eventually become king. But if you're not interested in running a kingdom, then do not fear, you can just be an adventurer, and it has a fully skill-based system, and lack of classes means you're rewarded with the ability to create the exact character you want to. So think of Ultima Online. You have skills and you level those up by doing those particular activities that relate to that skill, and you create your own class that way. So if you wanted to be a paladin type, you work on your sword and shield, you work on your defense, and you would work on some type of healing magic, and that way you could make that role, etc, etc. So let's talk a little bit about character roles. So Chronicles of Elyria is being made with 4 basic abstract character roles in mind. So roles play a part in the economy, and it requires skill sets, and it splits into different subspecialties. So there isn't really a defined player role. You as the player will be able to decide what role or roles you want to play and combine the skills available to your own choosing to create the role you want. So as I said before, no classes. Now, these different roles and specialties require different levels of capital, human resources, and as a player, your tolerance for risk and the type of activities you like to do will help you naturally determine which character roles are suitable for you. And they have different activities that go from like social, role-playing, to, of course, combat-oriented, crafting-oriented, and that type of thing. So some of these defined roles, okay, and there's plenty of room in between each of these. Like I said, there's not actually classes. So you would have like a champion. These are like the bodyguards, the sellswords, the soldiers, the ones that go down into the dungeons and get the loot. And the champion will be the one that goes and clears out areas, defends merchants as they're going down their trade routes, and kind of like the law enforcers, okay? So next up you would have like an explorer type. So this would be somebody who's more into surviving, because they have survival skills to be able to find, scavenge food, you know, be able to make a camp so they can basically spend more time out of town and more longer periods of time away from villages and towns. They can just go out and roam around through the forests, the swamps, etc. And the explorers will be the ones you would also consider the treasure hunters. So going deep into a mine, a tomb, a magical tree in the middle of uncharted forest, the explorers make their living by knowing what's where and charting, like by way of maps, the safest way to get there. Next up, you would have what's called the producers. Now, producers are the crafters of the world: blacksmiths, bakers, alchemists, and tailors. Now, the producers generally stay in the safety of town because they do not have much of a survivability. They do rely on suppliers to go out and fetch the things that they need. Now, when they're not crafting, they're selling their goods in a storefront or an auction house. So the producers are the crafters making the goods and selling the goods. Next up, you would have the suppliers. Now, these are the ones, as I mentioned before, they're divided into two different things. So the suppliers would have gatherers. They go out and they gather and get the resources like ore, gems, wood, food, crops, animal, byproducts, all that kind of thing for the crafters. But also they are merchants, and they can travel long distances to sell items in places that they are geographically unavailable. So if a producer knew that a certain thing they were crafting was worth more money in a faraway place, it would be up to a supplier type to get it there. Now, there's wagons they're going to use, and of course, that brings you back to our first one, where they want a champion to help them get to some of these faraway places and keep them safe. Now, one more thing I want to talk about would be the character roles, which is on the supplier end, it would be the farmers, lumberjacks, miners, and merchants. The producers would be alchemist, baker, blacksmith, tailor. The explorer would be the cartographer, and the champion would be like a bodyguard, dungeoneer, mercenary, soldier. So how you decide to do that and spend your skill points is up to you, but those are the basic things that you can do with those skill points. So I think that's pretty interesting and a fine concept for an MMORPG. And I don't want to spend all day talking about this game. I just wanted to make a quick video and kind of point out some of the basic things that kind of make Chronicles of Elyria stand out. Of course, you can go to their website, which I'll put a link for down below, and learn more information. And, you know, we'll see if you guys like hearing about other games going for a bizarre or a odd or an old school type feel. I'd be happy to cover the others as well. So just let me know if there's another game, or if you'd like to hear more about Chronicles of Elyria, let me know. I've had requests to talk about this game, and I don't mind to do so. And there's plenty more to talk about in this game. I just barely scratched the surface, but it's enough to maybe whet your appetite and just kind of give you like an appetizer for what this game can be all about. And let me know, like I said, in the comments down below if you want to hear more. Thanks for joining me today as we talk a little bit about this game. We got the newsletter for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen coming up in a couple of days. Cannot wait to share that with you guys and discuss it and break it down and dive deep. Until then, guys, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm gay. It's a video, but babe, you can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize. But just please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.